My name is Alex Peter, and I'm joined by my colleague Zand. The two of us, we represent two or even three development teams for analysis office, the product analysis office. Pieces of that product are the analysis plugin, the EPM plugin, and also the BPC plugin. Yeah, my name is Alex Peter. I'm based in Walldorf. Been with SAP almost 20 years, and I'm more or less representing the analysis plugin piece of Analysis Office. And Jeanne, maybe over to you.
Yes. So hello everyone. My name is Jeanne Bigonnet, and I'm based in Paris, actually in Levallois, and I'm working at SAP since many years now, and I'm representing more the EPM plugin part of Analysis Office.
Okay. Yeah.
We can go on.
Yeah, we can go one slide further. So discussing quickly the disclaimer. So we might be talking about some roadmap aspects, and this is the reason why we are putting on the disclaimer. Yeah, I will start maybe with the first very quick overview on the convergence of the Office client. So we have a single product, Analysis Office, and this has basically two plugins, so two previous products. One is Analysis plugin, which is the traditional, I would say, Analysis Office product. It makes the naming a little bit confusing. This is more the pivot table style-driven tool for the BI professional, but also for the business user. That enables more or less an analysis, but also in creation of, I would say, powerful Excel workbooks using our rich API, and also supports planning. And the other plugin is the next slide, on EPM plugin, which is more, I would say, the traditional free-form reporting tool for a finance business user, which provides you all the flexibilities for layouting, reporting, including a formatting sheet. And we have just put these two plugins, or these two clients, in the same installer. It's now called Analysis Office as an add-in. We introduced like a common Excel layer and put both on top of that. The main reason was to enable coexistence of the two, so you can use them in the same workbook on different sheets, and you have a common installer for the two. And other than, I would say, a refresh, they are still separated in separate ribbon tabs, so the features and functions are more or less the same as before. Important is probably this decision matrix, which plugin to choose for which scenarios. And note that we are talking about plugins, not really products, so it's not really important to have an additional product if you have a different scenario. So you have the same license, you have the same installer, you just have to choose a different ribbon tab. That makes it a little bit easier, I would say. And for the traditional BW and HANA sources, we recommend Analysis because the complete metadata is covered here. And for the traditional BPC standard model, as well as some MDX connectivity, we recommend the EPM plugin. For BPC embedded model, we also recommend Analysis because the embedded model is basing on a complex BW model, and Analysis is already more or less feature complete in understanding the BW model at this point in time. So we made a decision to recommend Analysis, while moving some more and more, I would say, reporting and layouting features, so giving more flexibility to the analysis user, so that even when you're using standard with EPM and embedded next to each other, you can cover the most important scenarios, I would say. Yeah, so in the next slide, let's discuss it a little bit more again. So as I said, BW meta model is already covered in Analysis, but we know that there are major differences between the Analysis plugin, the EPM plugin, that might result in some challenges for customers in terms of formatting, where the tool works different, in terms of the user experience with direct input and member recognition, where EPM works completely different than Analysis, and also offline planning is supported by a a whole process in EPM, whereas we only have a workaround here in analysis. But you will also see that we are enhancing some more flexible capabilities in the analysis plugin to cover the most important, I would say, reporting and layouting scenarios. Yeah, the next slide might discuss briefly the 2.4 release. We are going into detail in the next slides. Maybe I will just mention some important things. Also, I would say the key features of 2.4. So BPF is business process flow as a BPC functionality was already there in 2.3. We did an I think an important extension here in 2.4. Jan will cover that in a second. Then we have introduced application building for analysis plugin to hide and add specific items in the ribbon tab. And very important was for us the shared access feature that provides you more, I would say, flexibility in putting two different queries next to each other. And also the grouping feature is, I think, a highlight of the analysis piece. In terms of the EPM, we just reintroduced the EVDRE support, which was already available before. But as I said, so we are going into more details now in the following, and hand over to Jan to start with, I think, EPM, right?
Okay, thanks, Alex. So as the first new feature we have introduced in Analysis Office 2.4, for EPM plugin only, we support now EVDRE reports. So what does it mean? It means that before we had this limitation comparing to EPM add-in and EPM plugin, and now with the Analysis Office 2.4, we support EVDRE, and it means that we can open EVDRE reports using EPM plugin in Analysis Office 2.4. It will be recognized, and it will have the same behavior and also the same limitation that exists already in EPM B10. So it means that there is no specific new feature in Analysis Office 2.4 in EPM plugin if you compare with EPM add-in, but it's a major gap that we have removed with this version. Then another nice feature that we have improved with this new version is business process flow. So as Alex mentioned just before, we already supported in Analysis Office 2.3, so the previous version, this new business process flow. What is it? So basically, in the 2.3, we have introduced a new UI, a new panel on the left side of the screen, which allow the end user to retrieve directly in Excel and in PowerPoint all the steps defined in BPC on his BPF activities. So that was already existing in the previous version, as I said. What is new with this version, Analysis Office 2.4, it's that now we are able to support the whole process of the BPF from Excel. So if you see on my screen, you go on the backstage of Analysis Office, you have a specific menu here, BPC, and from here you have a dedicated menu which allow you to directly open your BPF from Excel. So this exists for EPM and also for Analysis Office. So regarding EPM, if we make a specific focus on the EPM connection, again on the same menu, open activity, you retrieve this connectivity to the EPM, and directly from here you can launch your BPF process, and everything will be then in Excel. No need to go back to the web client to follow each step of the activity defined in a BPF. So this is for EPM, but of course, if you are an Analysis Office user, Analysis Office plugin user, you can also connect your activity, connect your BPF directly using another menu with a specific menu for Analysis Office menu. Okay. Then we have also a nice new feature, which is called Customized User Interface. This feature, for now, it's only available for Analysis plugin, but we have in mind, for sure, to support it as well in EPM plugin. This feature is also not available in PowerPoint. It's only available in Excel. And for now, this feature allows only to customize the ribbon of the by profile. So what does it mean? What is the purpose of this feature? This feature is really to meet your needs in the sense that you can customize your ribbon easily. I will show you just after a quick demo on that feature. And based on what you need to see on the ribbon, you can hide button, or you can hide group of button, or just a subset of button. And you can also create your own button based on your macro that you can create and link to your ribbon. And also what is interesting in this feature is that the purpose of this feature is to allow to create different kind of profile. So you can have what we call user profile. So you will see it in a minute in the demo. The user profile can be defined easily by each user. So you can have several types of user profile. And you can also have what we call company profiles. These ones are defined by administrators. And of course, you can have several company profile type, but this one cannot be modified by the end user. This one is really created by the administrator and used by the end user, but with no capability to enhance it. So I will just show you a quick demo on that specific feature. So please let me know if there is an issue. I think you still see my screen. Okay, so I will open it. So I will show you a short video of this feature in order to explain you exactly how it works. So let's start from the beginning. So here you are in Analysis Office. You can see that my ribbon is exactly the one that you know. And I will introduce new button and also hide button in my ribbon in order to customize my interface. So to do so, I go to the menu Customize Interface. And here I can create my profile. So I will start to create a user profile. As I have explained to you, I can create administrator, company profile, or user profile. I will start with a user profile. So the user profile, it's defined from here. You see I retrieve all the menu from from Analysis ribbon. And from here I can easily check or uncheck menu. So here I will uncheck menu, group of menu. So you see here I just uncheck menu, but after that I will uncheck directly group of menu. So what does it mean? It means this menu won't be visible anymore in my ribbon. And also I can add new groups. So here I'm creating a group of buttons. This group will be seen directly on my ribbon. And additionally to this, I can also create new button below this group. So you see, I have several types of button. I can create button, simple button, separator, we will see just after, split button or toggle button. So doing that, here I'm just selecting the split button and I'm given a name. So I will use this button to open document. So from here, I will link this button to macros that I have created before. So here you can directly link your button to a macro, which is stored in your workbook, or you can link this button to a specific library, Excel add-in library of macros that you can prepare before. Here, I'm linking to this specific Excel add-in library of macros, which has a specific extension, XLMA extension. So that's why I'm giving the name, because this is my library of macros, and I will point to this specific macro included in my library. So then I can give also an image for this button. So I have chosen a button, an image, sorry. And I can continue to create my button below this first menu that I have created. So here I'll create a simple button, which is linking to another VBA macro. So here I'm just giving the name of the macro. And also I'm giving an image for this button. Then I see all my group, which is starting to be built. And here I can define another type of button. Here I will select a separator in order just to show you just after what does it mean in terms of UI. So from here, I can directly save my profile. And I can also define my profile as my default profile. Sorry, I went too fast. But you see now my profile is in bold, which means I have selected it as my favorite profile. It means that next time I will open Excel, I will retrieve this profile as my default profile. So let's continue to create a last button. Just for my example, here I'm creating a save button, just to show you after that a nice example. And here I'm selecting another icon for this button. Okay, so now we are good. I save my profile and I close. So what does it mean? It means that now to see the result, I have to close my Excel and reopen it. So I will do so. And here you see the results. I have reopened Excel, and here you retrieve my group. So I have created this group with this separator here. And I have my button, my split button here, open document, which directly points to the report. I have directly linked using the macro. You remember I used a VBA macro, which opened directly this report. So this report is directly open. And if I go back to the analysis tab, I retrieve it with my specific ribbon. And then I can enter data because I am already connected. And I will save my data using the save button you remember I have created before. So this is my specific message which was included in my macro, just for the example. And then it's done. So if you remember at the beginning, I told you that you can create several user profiles. So you have here examples of several user profiles I've created. And these are user profiles because they are stored in this specific location. Of course, I can also create as an administrator company profile, and it will be done in exactly in the same way. The only difference is I have to store it in a different location, which is here. So everything is written in the slide. And here you see I have created my profile planner 1, which is stored in this specific location. It means it's a company profile. And if I go back now to Excel to retrieve this company profile, I go in the UI, customize user interface. And from here, you see I will change the profile. And you see now all the profile which I can use. So you retrieve my user profile, you retrieve all the user profile I have created, but you retrieve also this specific company profile. And if now I play with the button, you will see that I'm not able to change it anymore because this is not a user profile, it's really a company profile. I think that's all for the demo. And I will stop sharing. I will hand over to Alex.
Yeah, thank you, Jean. Yeah, okay, so let's discuss the new analysis features of Analysis 2.4. So we start with shared access. In fact, this is a feature that consists of two things. So first is just the synchronizing of different crosstabs in terms of filtering and also on navigation, like hierarchies. So whenever you do some filtering in the first master query, all the dependent queries will filter accordingly. The same is also true for navigation. So this is, in terms of filtering, it's very similar to an FTT filtering component that can also affect several queries, but this is just on a, I would say, on a linking level. So it's just easy to achieve, just to link two different crosstabs. And with the shared access, you can really glue them together into the same crosstab. So if you have two different queries that share at least a common dimension, you can render them together. So let's maybe show a demo on that. So you can see in this screen cam that there are two queries with a common dimension product category. The second query has some structure in the columns. So you have the year and the, that you can expand. And yeah, the first query only has two measures. So and yet now we group them together. They are rendered in the same crosstab. And you can still use them independently. So you can collapse the year hierarchies to the months, if you like, and you can also start to navigate. However, you have to be sure to be on the master query in this case. So if you are on a dependent query, so it doesn't work. So you have to go to the master, more or less. Best would be just in the member area. So now I added region, and it will be applied to both queries. So it still looks like one single query, but it's in a way it's asymmetric. So the first two columns are different to all the others. When you do filtering, like monitors, you can filter monitors in this case on the product category. It will also be applied on both queries. When I ungroup them again, so that means leaving the access sharing, they will be rendered next to each other. And just to let you know how you can see what is the master and the dependent queries, I just group them again, and you can go to the components tab to see the crosstabs. You see also the icons that highlight the master and the dependent, and you can highlight in this case the completely grouped crosstab as well as the master or the dependent, so that you can see what are the components of these linked and grouped crosstabs. Okay, next feature is around planning. We did two new things. So the first is Autocomplete. That means you are in the new lines and you would like to enter just the first 3 or 4 characters of a new master data, and you just can enter the value help or using the control space shortcut to get to the member selector. If there is only one thing fitting to these 3-4 characters that you have entered, then it will automatically be shown there. And if there's like a choice of several, like all starting with a 10, you will get the member selector that is already filtering the right members, and you can choose which one you would like to see. So it's a kind of autocomplete or member recognition. In the new lines, you also might copy and paste several new lines, and if there is an erroneous cell because the master data does not exist. We indicate this now with a red frame. So this is a new style that is additive, and you can see really the erroneous cells that you need to correct. The table design rule editor has been enhanced in release 2.4. So we started table design already a while ago. We introduced the rule editor to see all the rules that you have defined, to change them in the last release 2.3. And now it's completely revised from the user experience. It has been added to also change formulas and stuff like that. So we don't have the edit button anymore because the edit section is always at the bottom. There's a copy button now available, and yeah, stuff like that. For BW sources, we have one, I think, very cool new feature, which is called grouping or custom hierarchies. The idea is here that you can pick out of a set like of 100 customers, so you can pick your 10 and assign them your own group or category A customers, something like that. So in order to understand this feature, I will be showing that quickly. So you can see here a list of products, and you can just pick them via normal Excel picking. You can use Control and Shift for picking any arbitrary values of products, and now you can group them. You can assign them a group header, for example, your personal A products, something like that. So you can see that we generate a hierarchy with a new node, custom A members. And I can do this the same for other members if you like, and for example, the B members. And you can also group, of course, these hierarchy nodes again into a separate group. So effectively, we are creating now a local hierarchy. It just really feels like a normal hierarchy in this case, and you can expand and collapse that as you would do it for a normal hierarchy. And you can ungroup that, of course. You can ungroup just one node, or you can ungroup everything, and going back to a flat list. Yeah, that's it. And note that this feature requires a BW 750 SP6. As far as I know, this will be available at the beginning of next year, so beginning of 2017. Note that this hierarchy only exists for the current backend session. That means when you close the workbook and the session is closed, we will delete the hierarchy. So the life cycle is really very short. However, we know the definition of the hierarchy. So when you open the workbook again, we know the definition and we create it again. So that means the hierarchy formation and the hierarchy is not completely gone, but it doesn't live in the backend when you close the session. So that's important that we don't put too many custom hierarchies in the system. On the BI platform, we have, I think, two main enhancements. Well, one is variants on the BI platform. That means you can store variants for your prompt screen, also for workbooks that are saved on the BI platform. This was only possible on NetWeaver-based workbooks so far, but we now also have the infrastructure on the BI platform. You can choose between user and also global variants, if you like. The default is user variants because there are no authorization checks on the global variants. That means if you define a global variant, everyone can change or delete these variants. You have to be aware of that. Yeah, and you can, of course, choose any variant that you have defined, and you can also do the variant maintenance where you change, for example, from user to global variant. Note that this requires a backend which is not, or a BI platform system which is not available at this point in time. It requires 4.2 SP4, planned for second quarter of 2017. With these variants, you can also facilitate the entry of the prompts for scheduling. As of now, you still need to enter the technical names of the variables and the input string with the right syntax in the prompt screen. And what you can do, if you have defined a variant, you can just choose it and you get all these values pre-filled. You can still change and add or delete stuff which is there. So, but it gives you already all the options, all the variables, and you can enter the values or change them. Or you can just accept them as they are defined in the variant. So it's much easier in terms of scheduling. Another nice thing that we started with this release is the commentary framework on the BI platform. You can define on the BI platform a specific table where you can store the comments. And in analysis, you can save all the existing comments to this database or retrieve them from there. Commenting on a cell basis has been available more or less since the beginning of Analysis Office. However, the comments are currently stored in a workbook. That means if you add a comment or change it, you have to store the workbook again. And not everyone can can save workbooks, so just from the authorization point of view, and you probably don't want to modify the workbook just because you change one specific comment. And the idea is to save them centrally on this database, and you can do this right now. Note that the comment is still workbook related, so it's only valid for this workbook. It's not cross workbook yet. But this is something we are working on in the future. It requires for the 2 SP3 at minimum. In terms of HANA, maybe before we do that, so maybe I'm showing quickly the variants on the BI platform. So let's open in Analysis a workbook which is stored on a BI platform. Let's take a workbook that contains a query with a prompt. Let's see the prompts. In this case, we have calendar month year with no restriction, and we have the product group, which is restricted to the notebooks 1. And this is a variant I would like to store here. So variant just notebook 1. I'm going to store that on the BI platform. Available there, and you can also go to the maintenance to change, for example, the type from user variant to a global variant. Okay, and when we try to schedule this workbook, you can go to the CMC. Look for this particular workbook, schedule it. See next to the, of course, the typical recurrence settings, destinations, we see the prompt. And within the prompt, you have the possibility to change or to choose a variant. And we are reading that, and you can see that the calment is available with no value added. And you see that product group, it's a little bit cryptic variable name in this case, has the value MB1. So you can schedule it already directly from within the platform given these variable values. Okay, so let's talk about HANA enhancements in Analysis Office 2.4. We have a new authentication type for HANA system, which is called automatic. With this, we are redirecting any logging into HANA to an identity provider, which is defined in the backend in the HANA system. So you can use, for example, SAP Cloud Identity or Google or whatever, so just as an identity provider, and you are logging on into this identity provider, and we are taking then the ticket from there and handing it over to the right HANA system. And you can use any authentication method from SAML, Kerberos, or certificate, which is possible and thinkable here. So in terms of an analysis, we also did some continuous improvement. First is the Workbook Protection. This is the possibility to protect the workbook. So you can't enter anything, but you can still navigate within the Crosstab. And for this, you need to protect the workbook via the Protect Workbook button, which is available in the analysis backstage. Don't use the normal Excel button, so you have to use this button, giving the password here, and then it allows you to still navigate within the Crosstab, filtering, planning, adding dimensions. All this is still supported, but you can't enter and change anything else. In terms of filters, we did two things. First is the explicit selection. That means you can now also use explicit selection on hierarchies. We used to have that on non-hierarchical structures already before, and now we can do this in hierarchies as well. For example, if you would like to select all the children of a specific node without the node itself, which is more or less the default behavior. So when you select all the children, the parent node is also selected. That means in this case, in this example that you see, if you have chosen Weiblingen, Weimar, and Wittenberg as cities, the parent node would be automatically selected as well. That would mean if there is another city coming in under this node, this will be always selected in future reports. But in some cases, you just want to choose these three without the parent. So that means if there's another city coming into this node, it should not be automatically selected. This is one scenario. Also authorization check, which is sometimes a little bit strange when you select everything. So more or less, we are not choosing, not doing any filtering in the backend, and if there is no authorization for everything for you, but only everything you see, then you would get the message, you're not authorized. So these are some scenarios for the explicit selection. Note that there is only a setting available, so you can't do it just for this query, but it's always turned on then for the whole installation for this particular user on this client. The other thing on the filters we did is you can now use excludes and ranges in the copy and paste. So from either clipboard or file, you can see that you, in the first example, you select 1 and not 2, 3, and not 4, 5 and not 6. And if you do this via copy and paste, you will automatically get this range selector that then corresponds to what you have selected here. And the same is also true for ranges, like greater and equal or whatever in between. Yeah, that's it. More or less, so this was Analysis Office 2.4 with all aspects of EPM analysis plugins and also the business process flow enhancements. Analysis Office 2.4 is available as of now, so you can download it from Service Marketplace. And yeah, with this, I would like to thank you for attending this call and wish you much fun and enjoy using Analysis Office 2.4. Thank you.